Hey, Huckster here. This is a comment on a couple of the last couple of videos Yokeup had that I watched. One is about Christianity is exclusive. You know, you just can't get in. Anybody just can't get in, he says. And he wants to start separating the people who think they're Christians from people like him who he says is a real Christian. You start to see a picture of Yokeup there, how he's better. You look back on his videos where he calls people human garbage. Nobody's good enough for him unless he decides, not God decides, but he decides they're good enough to be a Christian. And then his latest video where he starts it out by showing a picture of himself in college playing football. He goes on to talk about how in the game the other team is the enemy, and then he equates the other team with darkness. And he goes on to talk about this battle between good and evil, Jesus and Satan. He creates this supernatural being that is the bad, and Jesus is the good. The battle is within. Jesus tells us where all this bad stuff comes from, and it comes from our hearts. You know, when I was like summer between my junior and senior year in high school, I had to work all summer. I was a dishwasher in a restaurant. When I was in the 9th grade, I had a job where I worked about 12 hours a week to get money to go skating and go to the ball game on the weekends, football games or whatever. My family never had a whole lot. I remember when I first got out of high school, I went to work at a moving and storage company where we moved whole houses, people's household goods, one place to the other. And I remember waking up in the mornings and every muscle in my body my fingers, I couldn't even hardly move my fingers. And finally I had put in an application for a job at a major hospital here, and I got hired there as a patient transporter in the physical therapy department half a day, and then the other half a day I worked in the pharmacy. And as people got to know me, and I had started going to college at night, I was working 40-hour week and getting home from a junior college at about 11:30 at night, and being back at work at 7 the next morning. And I did this for about 3 quarters, and I just couldn't handle it. Now my brother, on the other hand, he had a full-time job working at a dairy and going to college. He got his degree from a junior college, and then he went to a major college here, about 20 miles away, Jacksonville State University. And we had to, and he had to work full time to go to college. We didn't have much. My mother and daddy both worked hard to provide for us, but we were good, honest people. I remember when I worked at the hospital, especially in the pharmacy, one of my jobs was to destroy medications that were going out of date. And people trusted me as not to try to steal these medications. These were prescription medications of all kinds. I even had a key to the narcotics room, where millions of dollars of narcotics were stored in there. This was a major hospital. I was not going to do anything against the law. I wasn't going to cheat. I wasn't going to steal. You know, I watched some videos from Yokeup from the past, and he talks about when he went into, I guess, his career after college, how he was the world's greatest liar with business deals and all. He was a crook, evidently, what he says. He had an attitude then, I'm sure, as he does now, that people are beneath him. Even Christians today he calls garbage if they don't fit what he sees as a Christian. He puts people beneath him. Many scriptures in the Bible tells us to humble and be servants and do good to others. Yokeup, just like in his video, Christianity is exclusive, and he wants to weed out the people that he thinks are not worthy. This man who professes that he sins daily, but Jesus died to cover that. I think he needs to read the Bible from beginning to end and get a good idea of what this Bible is about. He thinks it's about Jesus going to the cross to die for him. We're included in the redemptive power of the blood of Jesus, but Jesus didn't die for our petty bull crap. He didn't die so you could go out there and tattoo your body up so you could have multiple divorces and get away with it. You can be forgiven of those things only if you forgive others. Christoferl right now is doing a big deal on how we should forgive Yokeup. It's not what he named his videos, but that's what he's saying. A Yokeup, a man who forgives nobody unless you humble yourself to Yokeup. He doesn't know people's hearts, yet if you disagree with him, like I did early on in some of the things he was saying in his videos, I gave him scriptures, told him my opinion. All he saw from me was just worthy to be flushed down the drain. That I was pig puke, that I was Satan himself. What do I have to do? Go around and get the preachers that I'm friends with around here to write Yokeup a note to approve me? No. I don't worry about what Yokeup approves or disapproves. I worry about what God thinks about me. But why do I even say anything about Yokeup? Why did Jesus even say anything about the scribes and Pharisees? Christoferl says, you don't have to listen. If you don't like what's being said and done, don't watch, he says. Would Jesus have just said, hey, those scribes and Pharisees, man, they're off on their own trip. I'm not going to pay any attention to them. They were the ones in power. They were the religious leaders of those days. Here on YouTube, you have some religious leaders. And if they're saying and doing things that are blatant contradictions to what the scriptures say, Yokeup himself says, if you do not speak up, it's a sin. But when you speak up, you get blocked, get talked about, get put down in the comment sections. This is my little rant for today. Peace, love, justice, understanding, and music.